Welcome to Storytellers, the podcast where we hear the tales and journeys of inspiring members and supporters of NSA Houston. I'm your host, Beth Rohani, and here everyone has a unique story. So let's get nice and cozy as we spotlight our next storyteller. Welcome to Storytellers. Today we're joined by Elizabeth McCormick CSP, former U.S. Army Black Hawk pilot, best-selling author of 19 books, and one of top 30 motivational speakers in the world. She's been featured on ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox News, and the Wall Street Journal, and has spoken for global brands like eBay, Coca-Cola, and American Airlines. From flying Black Hawks to helping leaders and audiences soar, Elizabeth's story is full of lessons on resilience, influence, and success. So let's jump into this episode of Storytellers and get to meet Elizabeth a little bit more and dig a little bit deeper into her story. Welcome so much. I'm so excited to have you here. I mean, it's like beyond, because you're our first guest this year. And so exciting to have you.
Kicking off the year strong.
It is, yeah, absolutely. And the energy that you bring to the table is just amazing. You know, everybody just kind of says, you are successful, you've done it all. And we're going to jump to the question that everyone's wanting to know. We're not going to just kind of layer it. We're just going to go directly to the meat of it. What's your recipe for success and how do you do it? How have you gotten here?
It's really just about outlasting everybody else. There's some stickiness to not quitting, right? To not giving up when it's hard. And I mean, I actually started like my speaking business. I started it during the global recession of 2008, 2009.
Wow.
So I didn't know it was a hard time. Everybody else was struggling, and I'm like, yay, let's get started, right? So a lot of it's in your attitude and how you show up in adversity and how you show up. And the fact is business, there's ups and there's downs, and there's COVID, and then so there's things that we have to persevere through. So it really is kind of outlasting everybody else.
I love it. It's that grit, that's the word that comes. Grit, ambition, drive, perseverance. And right now in my company, we're sitting there defining our core values and what do those words specifically mean to who you are as a person and how you've carried yourself all of these years. And so that does seem to be a core value that you have, that you embrace. And so as you go through this life and this experience, tell me about some of the triumphs that you've dealt with and overcoming those, and what that looked like.
Let's see. The good thing, starting most recently, Global Gurus came out with the list of the top 30 motivational speakers in the world. And it's my first year on the list. I've been trying to get on the list for 6 years.
Wow.
So talk about perseverance, right? So this year we kind of broke into the list at number 13. Oh. They sent me the email on the list, and it was number 13. I was like, wow. Talk about exploding. I mean, Tony Robbins, Simon Sinek, Mel Robbins, are all the top names on the list. And so it was hugely humbling. And here's the thing, I could not tell anybody other than my family.
Oh.
Because it came out the same weekend as the Black Hawk crash in DC that I was doing media for.
Oh.
So how do you combine that reporting and doing the on-air expert analysis on a tragedy that should not have happened with, ooh, look at me, I got, so I had to sit and simmer for a month until the media started dying down about the crash and the investigation, so that I could finally share what to me was very exciting news.
Very.
But it was creating that huge swing, right, between the seriousness and the tragedy to something that could be perceived as self-serving that Absolutely. I was excited and happy about.
Absolutely. And it seems that in life, timing is everything. I'm a big believer in that, that everything in life is set up at the perfect time, space, and sequence. And so how do you think that time has played out over your career and establishing you where you are today?
I think the key word there is sequence, right? So some things choose you and other things you choose. So the things that choose you, you can't always control, but you can control the sequence of how you do things prior to and after. And a lot of times we just go straight into reaction. and we're not proactive. Or we go straight into the reaction, and we're not taking just a quick moment to be strategic in what we're doing and how we're thinking and how we're going to handle things. So I think that sequence.
And the one word, and I want the audience members to take this away, is that I'm hearing is intention. What's the intentionality between what you're doing and how you're doing it and the strategy behind it? And so do you find that throughout life with everything that you've done, even down to being a pilot, you've been very intentional in setting yourself up along the way?
Well, as a pilot, we kind of have to be, right? Everything's a checklist, everything's set, planning a mission, you start with the end in mind. That's intention, right? You know, we don't plan a mission from where we are, we plan a mission from where we want to be. And so what if in life, what if in our businesses, we plan only with where we want to be? So like for me, about 10 years ago, my husband and I sat down and said, you know, where do we want to be? And you have to have that ending in mind, and it might not be the end, but ending in mind so that you can back plan. So that was a 25-year plan for us 10 years ago. And what's amazing is we're pretty close.
Isn't that fun?
Yeah. The only thing that's not is in that 12-and-a-half-year plan was a movie deal. And then to get to that 12-and-a-half-year point, like, what do I need to do at the 6-year point? Half back again. And that 6-year point was, okay, I need to write the manuscript that has not been published. It's not a book yet. So the manuscript is ready because I'm waiting for the movie deal, right? So that's at the 6th year. And then to get the 6th year, from 6th year to now, like 3 years, where do I need to be there? So I think if more of us actually spent the quiet, intentional time and the strategy time to really think about where we want to be, and then just like we would plan a mission, where do we need to be here? Where do we need to be here? Where do we need to be here? All the way to what should we be doing now? And what that does is it really helps you get a filter for the things you should be doing now. Because it either supports your goal or where's it taking you?
Yeah, off
further
track.
away.
Yeah.
Right? And if something's taking you further away from the goal, you only have 2 choices, right? Your one choice is stop what you're doing, it's not fitting in, or it might take you someplace better. And if it's taking you someplace better, then you revise the goal of where you want to be. So they all work it works in tandem together. So great question with intention.
Well, and although I'm not a Black Hawk pilot,
Well, not many are.
I am an entrepreneur and I do run a business. And when you say goals, what I'm hearing is this is something that can apply to anybody in life, and setting goals, because ultimately you gain wins along the way. And so if you have this mindset that one day I'm going to become a Black Hawk pilot, to achieve that, or to even maybe think about one day I'm going to become a motivational speaker, right? This is such a big, far-fetched thing that you're setting for yourself if you're not there yet. But how do you get yourself there? So like, what was one of the first things that you did to become a Black Hawk pilot? Well, you started going to...
I researched it.
Exactly.
When I decided to be a speaker, I studied other speakers' videos, like hours and hours and hours of video with a notepad with pluses and minuses. What do they do or say that I like? What do they do or say that I don't like? So that I can develop my own style and my own brand, which is a little bit of Zig Ziglar and a little bit of John Maxwell and a little bit of Tony Robbins, and his little bits and pieces, right, of each to find what is comfortable for me.
And once you found that felt like a win, I'm sure. And then you go on to refining and just building up through this experience of life that you're faced with, because again, everything in life happens in the perfect time and sequence. And if you have the intentionality behind it, then what I hear is you're then proactive and working towards it instead of reactive. So if things are hitting you, you now have escape plan 1 or escape plan 2. So if this doesn't work, you can pivot.
Or no escape plans.
Exactly, just bail.
This is I am all in. I am all in. Like there's no, like if you're spending time planning a plan B and you want plan A to succeed, you're dividing your focus.
It's distractions.
Right? Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so how do you become more of a logical thinker than an emotional thinker too, it sounds like? Because in some cases, I find that when the emotions come into play,
bad decisions are made.
Exactly. You took the words right out of my mouth.
Bad decisions are made.
And so why do you think that is? Why do you think that people these days are so quickly influenced in making decisions without really taking that time to do the research and the homework and really taking that first leap of faith to kind of get yourself there and not be afraid?
Well, coming to the meeting is a first great, right? To learn from people who are further ahead from you is always a great first step. So if you have not come to an NSA Houston meeting, please come to the NSA Houston meeting where they have great speakers like me.
And this is not a paid ad.
No, it's not. It's not. I'm a big advocate for NSA because you learn from your peers, you learn from people that are further ahead within the industry. And so if you, no matter what industry you're in, if you're a coach, it would be ICF, right? So no matter what industry you're in, join your professional associations, get involved, attend, and learn, because that's really where the magic happens. And the exponential levels of growth happen is when you have that exposure to others, and also build a really great network of friends and people that you can reach out to.
And I love that you say network. Tell me a little bit more about your involvement with NSA National.
Yeah, so I have been a member of NSA National for 10 years. So I got involved with, they had just a year before started the women's group we call Power Women of NSA National, and for the National to support aspiring and successful women speakers, professional speakers. And it has just started the year before, and I was like, what can I do to help? Like, if I can't help at the national level, I'll help in what we call a community group or the chapter level, right? So I'll find a way. And I was like, what can I do to help? And they're like, we need somebody to plan the conference inside a conference at the national conference. And plan an education session. I'm like, done, I'll do it. And I did. And then I did that for 3 years.
Oh, you did a good job. You must have done really good.
Well, and then they said at the end of like the 2.5 year point, they're like, and we want you to lead the whole thing next year. So like 1,000 professional women speakers. I was the community group volunteer leader for like another 3 years. So and then I'm like, okay, it's time for somebody else. And then as soon as I left that, I went and became the leader in my chapter. So I can't just sit back. I want to help. I want to be a part of the conversations and help making things better. And I see that in you. I see that in Tom. I see that in other.
It's incredible. Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, the word network is such an instrumental word, and it's so, I think, neglected these days because it's such a powerful thing with technology and us being so connected digitally, that this human connection and to be able to just have conversation and interact and have me learn from your experiences, and it's just.
I want to highlight one word in there though. It is network.
Absolutely.
It's not net eat. It's not net Facebook.
Absolutely.
It's not net fill in the blank, right? It's network. It does require effort from both parties, right? So you can show up, but then what are you doing in between the meetings? What are you doing to stay connected? What are you doing? How are you, serving your network? And so
when I went to Influence, I was there intentionally to, one, build my network, and two, be able to say, what are all the opportunities that then I can see in national that's bringing value to national members that I can bring to local, and now apply that to my local chapter so that same value can be reached locally. And you mentioned accolades and designations, and we all mentioned CSP, so Certified Speaking Professional. So tell our audience a little bit more about what that is and what it takes to even get it.
It's like getting a doctorate in paperwork. It's a lot of paperwork and scheduling, and the criteria changes every year. They just announced the criteria for this year. I know it changed a little bit. So it's a 10-year kind of analysis period where you have to meet these criterias. And then when you've met that, the financial gate and the quantity gate, you submit a video of you in action that is peer reviewed. So other CSPs will watch your video that you submit and assess whether you are of the quality to receive this certification or not. I should have gotten mine like 2 years before. I was qualified, and I just suck at paperwork. So not my skill set. So I started it 1 year. I didn't get it done in time. So I moved it to the next year. I finally got all the paperwork together and submitted it. And here's what I found. I reached out to every single past client and let them know I was going in for my certification, my professional certification, and you might be contacted by our national office to verify that I spoke for you. For your memory, I inserted in, just so you know, this was the date that I spoke for you, this is how much you paid me, this is the, and I actually fed them the details so that they make it easy for them to say yes. So I said, and if you'd like to be on the list to do the more detailed assessment and evaluation, please reply back to this email, yes. And so by doing that I had 286 on my list.
Wow.
It took me a week to send in, because I didn't mail merge that. I sent each and every one a separate email over a week. It was like a week in December, and got that done. And I cannot tell you how many reached out and said, you know what, it's been that long since we had you. Wow. We need to bring you back. So I actually got business out of it just by reaching out to everyone in that process. Or I stay, oh, you know what, I'm with a different company now. I'm going to recommend you for this company. And so it was just really, and then the other piece of it is that the speaker bureaus that were booking me, if they have a choice between a CSP and a non-CSP, a CSP is a proven entity, and they would recommend a CSP before a not CSP. So I found that my bureau bookings and the bureaus that rep me increased significantly.
And what I just heard through all of that, I mean, literally, I probably tuned everything out with the exception of like 3 words that came to my mind: proactivity, intentionality, and strategy.
I'm hearing a common theme here.
This lady is all about, building that. And that's amazing, because that's essentially getting back to your initial question of what's your secret to success. It's this drive, it's this resiliency, it's this mindset of
showing up when it's hard.
And doing it, exactly, and the networking aspect of it. And I don't know if our listeners took this away, but listen up, because this is a key part. She said, start documenting it from the beginning. Okay?
So painful. So much paperwork.
I can already hear the pain in your voice. And so if you start from the very beginning, even if you're starting your business as a speaker, a coach, a trainer, a consultant, right now, start your books from the beginning. Start your accounting from the beginning. Start your business.
Start it well from the beginning, right?
Accurate.
Start good habits and good structure and good info. I say that, but I also will say, don't let it stop you. If one piece of it's not perfect, don't get
for sure
analysis paralysis and keep you from moving it forward either, right? So that's that fine line between I want to do it right, but I want to make sure it's like, so you've got to find that balance that works for you.
Very much so. And now more so than ever, there's technology that helps you be able to leverage yourself. And if there are things that you're not familiar with, you can go in and learn it so quickly. And again, a lot of our listeners and viewers are aspiring and they're looking to get into this, and there's all these hurdles and roadblocks that they're facing. And so this is great advice that they're taking in. Did you ever do Speakers Academy?
I didn't, but I would recommend it. And I do recommend it, and I've taught it. So, I mean.
And really for our speakers, what is it that, that Speakers Academy can bring for them in terms of value?
Well, I mean, the biggest thing is shortening the learning curve. Like, how do you shorten the learning curve? Because it really, as a speaker, or even coach or trainer, facilitator, MC, like using the spoken word for a business, it's two businesses. It's two businesses that are blended together. You've got the whole art and craft piece of what you do and the skill building you have to do and maintain. So you've got the art and craft, and then you've got the business, because you have to run it as a business or it's a hobby, right? So what I think most academies do really well is they do some training on both to help kind of how do you blend that together and make it not just a viable business, but a thriving business.
And so what I'm hearing is there's tools, there's resources. CSP is a designation that you can work towards and achieving by being able to just do what you organically would be doing as you're going through your journey of a speaker or coach or consultant. And then the Speakers Academy is a launching pad that you can initially start with by getting the fundamentals of
Think of it as a fast track.
A fast track
How do you
opportunity.
What's the easy button or the fast
Give
track?
me,
right?
yes.
Right. If you are watching this and I need the easy button, I need the fast track, a Speakers Academy is that.
Well, 2 last questions.
Okay.
Who have been some of your role models in the industry that you've looked up to?
So, when I first started, I Googled, and now it'd be an AI search, right? So I Googled who are the other pilots that speak, because I wanted to see them. And so I looked at their websites, I looked at all their videos. So Wally Waldo, Wingman, Carrie Lorenz, Vernice Armour, Fly Girl. So I looked at a lot of them. There's even more now that weren't then, but I looked at all of them and I said, what did they say? And I made a do not say list because I wanted to make sure I wasn't using any of their catchphrases. Mm-hmm. So I really researched it to figure out what, and I had this big list of do not use these terms as you're building your speech, right? And then I looked at them what did they do, what did they not do that I liked, and some of them I didn't like. I didn't like how a lot of them out there, and a lot of speakers out there come from a place of bravado and overbearing confidence, and that didn't relate to me. So I wanted it to be, I made the decision to be more vulnerable and everything like that. So I pulled a lot from John Maxwell, and I watched, Zig Ziglar's footage. He's from Dallas, where I live. So I watched a lot of his footage. I actually know his granddaughter. So I pulled a lot of, unfortunately, mostly male speakers, which was also shaping for me and telling. It's okay, we need more women on this top motivational speaker list, right?
Right.
How do we get more women on the list? I just had an opportunity to be on a podcast from someone that's very famous, based in LA, and a very, very big podcast, 4 million views, and wonderful interview. Shocked at how much research he had done about me, shocked. And we had this really great interview. And at the end of the interview, he's on some really big stages, and some really big, well-known, well-advertised on social media events that have 6 men, 1 woman. 6 men, 1 woman. 5 men, 1 woman. And it's so at the end of the call, and he's on those stages. And I said, so how can we get more women on those stages? And he just was and we were off air. And he's oh, you know what? You're right. I'm going to recommend you. And I was okay, hold on. First of all, thank you, because he actually in the podcast complimented he's I watched your video. I'm okay. And how good I was on stage, which was a huge compliment to have someone of that caliber, right, recognize that. But I was okay, just so you know, I'm not fishing. I did not say this to fish. I'm just saying in general, 20% of the stage is female, but yet your audience is for men and women, and 50-some% of the general population, and your audience is female. What message does that send? What message does that send? Does it send that women aren't good enough or strong enough or trusted enough to be on those stages and in those large audiences? What message does it send? And he was just whoa, okay, I'm going to look into this. Because I'm going to recommend you. I was okay, I'm not doing it to recommend me, right? But we need to advocate, right? As a role, as a public speaker and a role model, and we need to be the advocates for stages. We need to be the advocates to right the unjust and right the unrights, right? And help that what we bring attention to. It wasn't even in his awareness.
That's what I was thinking is sometimes you just have to bring that awareness.
Right.
Yeah.
So now he's whoa.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he's reached out to me since. So it's just whoa, okay. It's different. But if you listening, viewing, if you are not the one to bring something to somebody else's attention, who is? And why not you? I mean, that's our role here, right? Is to help make things better. And that doesn't happen in silence.
No.
And that's why the word is what we say, and a spoken word, and how we advocate as an industry is so important.
Very true. Very true.
Did I hijack that question?
Not at all. Not at all. And it resonates so well because I'm thinking about my mastermind group. And before I was even a part of the mastermind group, the owner of the company reached out to me and said, "Oh, you're an entrepreneur. We want to do this interview on you on this podcast. Come join us." And I did a little bit of research about him, and he has this mastermind group called Gathering the Kings. And when I got on there, it's just like all these men. And so after my interview with him, I said, "I've done a little bit of research on you, and I see that you have all these kings, but where are your queens?" And he goes, "It's funny that you should ask that. If you can make it to Kansas City tomorrow, we're having our quarterly retreat."
Tomorrow?
Yes.
Oh my
yes.
gosh.
And we're having our quarterly retreat. We're going to go to the Kansas City Chiefs game. We have one extra ticket, and if you can make it, come check us out.
No pressure.
I was at a state of my life where I was saying no to I was saying yes to a lot of things, and I literally got an airplane ticket, and I got on the airplane with my dog the next day. I sent my mom to GPS, and I said, "If you don't find me, I'm going to this strange person's house in Kansas City." And I walked into a room of men, and I was the first queen. And from that, now there's other female entrepreneurs that are part of his mastermind group, which now you've opened the pathway for other opportunities for other people that, again, because of me just speaking up and asking the question of why or why not, like in your case.
And if not you, who?
Who?
Like somebody is either going to or needs to, why not you?
Absolutely.
Like I think we all could do a better job of being better advocates.
Absolutely.
So gender, race, topic diversity, like there's lots of different ways that we can contribute to the conversation because some of us are in rooms, others aren't.
Mm-hmm. You're so inspirational. So what's next for you? What does the journey look like for you?
Ooh, total world domination.
Oh, I love it.
Yes. So here's the thing. I'm going to control my controllables.
Mm-hmm.
So, which is something I teach my audiences too, is focusing on the things that I can do. So it's a constant improvement, evolution. Like I showed in the chapter meeting, the 5 different brands I've had over 16 years, and it's just a constant. So I have some things that I want to finish and accomplish and complete well. I've got my 20th book coming out next month, and my 21st book probably the end of the year. Hopefully, it should have been done sooner. Stay connected with me, Pilot Speaker, on everything.
I love it. Well, Elizabeth, thank you so much for sharing your story with not only me, but our viewers and our members today. It was definitely an amazing experience to hear your journey as a Black Hawk pilot, a top keynote speaker, and just a reminder for us that resilience and focus can truly set you to new heights. So again, thank you so much, and until next time, we'll see you guys later.